Yo, what is up? Welcome to NinjaGeek Games. So it's here, it's finally here. The long-awaited expansion to the acclaimed Dune Imperium has been released, and I'm very excited about this as the base game appeared in my top 5 solo games played in 2021. Spoiler alert, and I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. Rise of Ix adds an overlay board to expand the role of Chome, with use of a freighter to collect resources, a separate board area representing the planet of Ix, where players can negotiate and gain dreadnoughts and advanced technologies, 6 new leaders from 3 houses, additional cards to add to the base game decks, and rules for an epic game mode too. In this video, I'm going to show you how to harvest the expansion into your base game. Man, this sand gets everywhere. During setup, the Planet X board is placed beside the main board and has 2 agent spaces, a negotiation area and spaces to place the tech tiles. These tiles are shuffled, divided into 3 stacks and placed into the tile areas with the top tile of each stack turned face up. For the 2 action spaces, the Dreadnought space costs 3 Solari and allows you to commission a Dreadnought from your supply into your garrison, and I'll discuss how to use these later. This is the Acquire Tech icon, meaning when triggered from the board or from a card, you are able to gain one of the face-up tiles by paying its cost in spice. The negotiation action space provides you with 1 persuasion and also allows you to either purchase a tech tile with a discount of 1 spice or take a troop from your supply and place it in the negotiation area here for some sneaky backhanded discussions. Now, in future turns, anytime you use the Acquire Tech action, you may remove any number of your negotiators to gain a 1 spice discount off the tile price per token removed. Once gained, tech tiles sit face up in your play area and grant special abilities that can be used throughout the game. Tech abilities are used at specific times during the game, such as gaining Solari at the start of each round, or in-game once around effects where the tile is flipped when the effect is used and then turned face up to be used in future rounds, as well as effects that can take place based on your actions or outcomes, such as detonation device that is only used if you win a conflict. This icon indicates the tile can be gained by rival houses in the solo game. The Chome overlay board is placed here at setup and does 2 things. Firstly, it alters the Landsraad Council where the rally troops and Hall of Ottery are absent. Secondly, it completely replaces the Chome area with shipping spaces and freighter control tracks. At setup, you'll need to place all house freighter tokens at the bottom of the shipping track. To place an agent in interstellar shipping, you must first have at least 2 influence with the Spacing Guild. This is the freighter icon, and if triggered from a board space or card, it allows you to do 1 of 2 actions per icon. You can either advance your freighter 1 space up the shipping track or recall it back to the starting position and gain the rewards associated with its current position and those below. The rewards include gain a tech tile with a 2 spice discount, noting we can use negotiators to reduce the cost further, gain troops to the garrison and move up the influence track, and here is either gain 2 spice or 5 Solari, but if you take the Solari, each other player also gains 1. And here you get to take that action twice. In smuggling, you can gain a single Solari and take a single freighter action. Dreadnoughts begin the game in your supply. As mentioned earlier, if you triggered the Dreadnought icon, you can commission 1 Dreadnought from your supply into your garrison. Now, it's important to note that the term unit has been implemented to replace the word troop at combat action spaces, and this now includes both troops and Dreadnoughts. So, if you place an agent at a combat space and are able to deploy units from the garrison to the conflict area, this now includes both troops and Dreadnoughts. During combat, Dreadnoughts provide 3 strength, plus if you don't win the combat, they return to your garrison, not your supply. However, if you win a conflict in which one of your Dreadnoughts took part, you can take control of Acarine, Carthage or the Imperial Basin. As long as there is no other Dreadnought present, you can place yours on any flag area, even if it has a control marker on it, and gain all the bonuses, including defensive, until the end of the next conflict where it is placed back into your garrison. We have 6 leaders, 2 each from House Vernius, Ikaz and Mauritani. For Vernius, we have the Prince, who can gain a tech tile by paying its cost, plus all of its Dreadnoughts have a strength of 4. Tessia comes with 4 snooper tokens that are placed at influence 2 on each faction track. When that player reaches a snooper token, it is removed and placed on the topmost uncovered space here to gain a reward. Their Signet Ring ability allows them to lose influence on one track to gain it on another where they have a snooper token. For House Ikaz, Elessa can spend a Solari to gain a fold space card, and each round they can set aside a card from hand that can be used in their second turn, and if used to send an agent, they can gain Spice or Solari dependent on the number of agent icons on the card. The Archduke can acquire a card of up to 3 Persuasion with the Signet ability, and they can trash cards if they have at least 2 agents on the Landsraad, City or Spice areas. Lastly, Princess Yuna can move up 1 influence track, gain a troop to garrison and a spice by spending 7 Solari, but they start the game with no water. However, whenever they gain a Solari, they're able to increase that amount by 1. With Hundro's Signet ability, they can take a freighter action by spending 1 spice, and at the start of the game they can look at 2 intrigue cards and take 1. So what else is new? Well, there are extra Conflict, Intrigue and Imperium cards that are shuffled into their respective decks during setup, and some new icons. Discard allows a player to discard a card from hand, and Unload, adjacent to a reveal box, allows you to gain the associated reward when the card is revealed, discarded and or trashed. So, in this situation, you could play a card with a discard icon and discard this to gain 3 Solari. Then, later in a turn, you can trash the card to get the reward a second time. There is also an infiltrate icon on some new cards which only shows part of an agent profile, and this allows you to place your agent on spaces that are blocked by enemy agents. There is also an epic game mode where you play to 12 victory points and you only use 5 conflict 2 cards and 5 conflict 3 cards at setup. Each player also gets to make use of the Control the Spice card, gains an intrigue card at setup and begins the game with 5 troops in their garrison. For solo play, the additional House Hagel cards allow rival agents to be placed on the new board areas and provide rules for deploying dreadnoughts and using them to control board spaces where its first priority is areas where you have a control marker, then the Imperial Basin. Of the 6 leaders, only Prince Rombar and Hundru Moratini can be used. The rival will now always hoard spice to buy tech tiles and not victory points unless the current conflict card is conflict 3. For tech tiles, the rival will buy the most expensive and only those with the House Hagel icon, and will also use negotiators where possible. There are 2 variants that can be incorporated into the solo game, where at the end of the reveal phase you get to roll 2d6 and trash cards in those positions, ignoring any 6s. There is also Brutal Escalation, where you can decide to reveal 2 House Hagel cards during Conflict 3 combat, adding swords from both cards, but this becomes very challenging. So that's it for the most part. Quite a few interesting additions to the game that I think you'll really enjoy. If you've been able to get this to the table, let me know what you think in the comments. This is NinjaGeek Games. Cheers.